everyone, and welcome back to another review. Today we are talking about Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is the story of a surgeon. He's super arrogant. He's a prick. That's the best way to call him. He's a prick. And he gets into this car accident that basically destroys his use of his hands. His hands are always shaking. He never stays still. Therefore, he can't be a surgeon anymore because, well, he needs hands in order to do that. And so, in order to try to get his hands back, he goes on this quest to this place. That's really all you need to know. Guy who gets an injury needs it fixed because his job. And this is a very interesting movie, guys. It is an origin story about Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange, who turns into Doctor Strange, and I found it to be very similar to Tony Stark, Thor, both arrogant people, and then something happens to them where they decide to be better people. So it is similar. In the end, though, it's awesome. It's a great origin story. It really is. Benedict Cumberbatch plays Doctor Strange. He does such a great job. He does a fantastic job of balancing this arrogant character, this sarcastic character, this very passionate character about what he does. He also does a great job of playing confused. Because holy cow, does this guy get confused at times, and just his mind is blown, even though he's like this super smart, arrogant idiot dude. Uh, the, you know, he just does a great job. That's what I'm gonna tell you. The cast, besides Benedict, is fantastic. There was some controversy about this film because Tilda Swinton was cast as the Ancient One, who in the comics a lot of times is seen as this old Asian man. I personally didn't have a problem with it. There's even a joke in here when he first meets these people. He goes to this old Asian man and says, "Oh, hello, you must be the Ancient One." And no, it's Tilda Swinton. So I thought it was very interesting. I think they kind of joke about it. Also, I don't know how it's whitewashing when we have a black man by the name of Chiwetel Ejiofor, who's phenomenal in this film. We also have Benedict Wong, who is he's an Asian character. He's an Asian guy, and in the comics, Benedict Wong's character is actually this slave to Doctor Strange. He's a slave. He's not in this movie. He's actually a really awesome character. So I really disagree with that. But the cast besides that is fantastic. They do such a phenomenal job. Uh, the visuals in this movie are the big thing that I have to talk about because holy crap, this movie's awesome. There are buildings folding on each other, just different realms. This movie is just, oh my gosh. If you've seen Inception, this movie definitely takes inspiration from that, and I actually watched the commentary. The director actually said in the commentary that he did get inspired from Inception, and it is Inception inspired, but it even goes further than Inception does. This is just nuts. Uh, there's also fantastic fight scenes, just the awesome choreography, and gosh, would I love to have been on set to see these guys doing this when you're supposed to be seeing magical stuff in the movie, and instead they're just doing this stuff. I'm sure it would be hilarious. Uh, you know, so the visuals are just awesome. I have to talk about the third act. The third act is so interesting and different than any kind of superhero movie we've seen. A lot of superhero movies nowadays, there's a portal in the sky, we're all gonna die. This kind of has that, but it puts a spin on it, and I don't want to say any more than that. It's different. It might be jarring the first time. I know the first time I watched it, I didn't know if I liked it. Second viewing though, I love it. I really do. It is such a different, unique ending that it has to be applauded for that. Uh, if you have a chance to see this in 3D, I don't think it's really in theaters anymore. If you have a chance, see it in 3D. If you can't see it in 3D in theaters, you have a 3D TV, watch it in 3D. This is, I don't ever say watch a movie in 3D. I hate 3D. This is a movie to watch in 3D. It is just amazing. And look, I've never done drugs in my life. I know, hard to believe. But if you got something sitting around, this might be a good movie to watch that with because pretty colors, pretty colors. It's like a kaleidoscope at some. Oh boy, pretty colors. That's all I need to say. I also have to talk about the score, which is done by Michael Giacchino. He does a phenomenal job. This is a very interesting, weird movie. The score is interesting and weird, and I love that. It just totally fit in with the movie. As far as the negatives go, there's kind of some forced humors. You'll have a scene that's very intense, very dramatic, and then it just ends with humor, and it doesn't work. Also, another kind of minor negative is the fact that there's some conveniences in this movie. One minute this works, the next this doesn't, that kind of thing. Those were two minor ones I kind of just put into one bigger negative. Uh, One really big thing I had a problem with is the timeline. It's very confusing. You see one scene, he doesn't know what he's doing. The next, Doctor Strange is super good at his magic. It, I have to compare this a little bit to Batman Begins, just because it is a similar origin story where Batman, he's broken and he has to go to another world, another part of the world, to train. And that you really get it. You understand he's been there for 8 years. This one doesn't really do that. I'm not. I honestly, I've seen the movie 4 times, 5 times now, and I'm still confused. How long he was trained? Was it 2 years? Was it 2 months? Was it? I'm just unsure. So the timeline, as far as pacing goes as well, kind of goes in with that. The last thing I have to say is something that all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies have. That's a bad villain. This villain, Mads Mikkelsen, does an amazing job with it. You can tell he loves. He's having the time of his life. His motivation, it's there, I guess. I mean, it's fine. In the end, though, it didn't work for me. The other thing I have to talk about, there's someone else at the end that we see. He's a CGI character, and he looks like crap. He looks bad, and it's kind of supposed. I think it's kind of supposed to look like that because you'll understand when you watch the end. But it didn't work for me. That's all you need to know. In the end, guys, this is a good movie. Is it my favorite Marvel movie? No. Is it the worst Marvel movie? No. In the end, this movie's gonna get a 7 out of 10. All right, guys. If you did not know, the Doctor Strange Blu-ray has come out. Picked it up yesterday. This is a fantastic Blu-ray, guys. You should really check it out if you haven't. There's some amazing bonus features in this. It talks about the future of the MCU and Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It also talks about the cast and crew of the film. I talked about Tilda Swinton, Benedict Cumberbatch, just a whole bunch of them, a whole bunch of great cast in here. It also talks about some of the sets, some of the behind-the-scene things, which is some of my favorite things to see. Uh, this is actually something I wish there was actually a little bit more of, though. It's like 5-minute thing where they show a couple of green screens, and I wish there's more of that. It's one of my big problems with MCU movies, to be honest. It also talks about some of the fight choreography, how it was done, some interesting things I found out, like that Benedict Cumberbatch and Mads Mikkelsen actually did most of their own stunts. I did not know that. That's really cool. Talks about the making of the score and how they put that in. Deleted scenes, which are always fun to see. Gag reels, which Marvel gag reels are some of the best. They're hilarious. And then there's also commentary from a director, and it's very, very interesting, I have to say. This is a lot of time commentary films after the movie comes out, so it can talk about some of the negatives some people had. This one does not have that. He did it like right before the even premiere, so before really anybody saw this. So I found that really interesting. I would someday like to see a post commentary of it, just because I think that's always interesting for them to talk about what some people say are really bad in the movie. In the end, guys, this is a very good Blu-ray. I would totally recommend buying it. I'm going to give this Blu-ray a 9 out of 10.